A big part about love is self-image. Like when we say we come out here for the Israelites, or even when we say Kwame Asharala, you know we speaking to y'all, right? We're speaking to our people. Go to Isaiah 1 and 3. And the sad part about it that I've realized to realize about our people is that we don't realize, or we don't even think of each other as a people. We don't even think of each other as a nation. Since the car broke down in the middle of the street, everybody was pissed off. Damn, why she not moving? What's going on? No one even thought about, maybe she has a problem. Maybe she has an emergency. Maybe she needs help. And she was frail built. She had a bodily issue. She wasn't going to be able to do it herself. And had we not been here, she would have just been left. We don't even care to look at each other with any kind of compassion, any kind of sincerity, any kind of actual upliftment or positivity when we look at our own brothers and sisters. Bring it out. Everybody's only concerned about themselves. Well, me and mine's just straight. No, you're not. Because every single thing that's going to happen amongst this nation, I guarantee you, is going to affect you. Let there be a father that don't raise his son, and he get turned over to the hood niggas. I guarantee you that's going to affect you. Let your daughter not have a woman to look up to that's going to teach her how to be a woman, and let her start turning to the streets. And I guarantee you that's going to affect you. It's not just about us as individuals. We're a nation. But go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 1 verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib.
He said the ox and the ass, meaning the ox and the donkey. So if they know where they live at, they know where they go home to. I remember even if you have dogs, you let them out the gate, they run around, but they know where to come back to. And a dog is smarter than an ox and an ass. But you have these animals and they still know where they dwell. They still know what's up, but go ahead.
But Israel doth not know.
But we don't know. We don't consider ourselves to be a people. We don't consider ourselves to be holy. We consider ourselves niggas and bees. We don't consider ourselves to be a holy people. And that's where that lack of self-love comes from. That's where that lack of self-esteem comes from. If you understood what you was calling yourself, if you understood what the gravity of what we speak about, it wouldn't be people going by and going about their days. Everybody, every car would stop. All ears would hear. But unfortunately, that's not the case because we don't even consider. Man, before we even came in this, I never heard the term Israelite. We all been there. But at the end of the day, this is our opportunity for repentance. This is the mercy that Christ offered us, so that we had a chance to learn and repent before it is that time. Before it is the end. When you calling yourself black, Latino, whatever the case may be, look up the definition of black. The colloquial definition, which means the exact definition of black, is a lack of light. It's every single thing is a negative connotation. And if you look up white, it's all about purity. It's all about being clean. So then you wonder why we look at ourselves with such negativity, but then we quickly come to the defense of the white man.
Go ahead.
You see pictures of Jesus and pictures of heaven. Look very closely. Ask yourself what are black people like. I'm looking at all these historic images and all these little swap meet images everybody got on their doors at home. And someone finally said, you know what, I realized there ain't no black people in there.
Bring it up.
And I look real close at each and every angel. Not one of them was black. But you don't consider yourself to be a holy people. You don't consider yourself to be a nation. You know what Israel means? He who prevails with God and man. Now you start putting that title in your mind, you're going to have some respect about yourself.
That's right.
You're going to be careful about the way that you walk, about the way that you talk, about the way that your people present themselves. Hey man, you can't be doing that, you an Israelite.
Go ahead.
That's power. That's honor. But we don't even have that amongst ourselves. Go to Hosea 4:6.
Bring that up.
Because we don't know this. We don't have this knowledge. This knowledge has been lost.
Hell no.
But that's why we're here, to bring our people back to the knowledge of who we are. Back to the knowledge of us being a nation.
Lost people, go ahead.
The same way, you know what's crazy? That's be a big appeal with the street life. Because a lot of times we want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. So niggas start gang banging, claiming colors, flying flags. Because you know if you die, you got kids or whatever the case may be, the homies got you. But it shouldn't even be one person stepping up. If we worked as a nation, we can have everybody be taken care of as a collective. And it isn't the responsibility of one person to take care of two families.
Go ahead.
The same way America, you know how America functions? They tax. They spend billions of dollars a year on military. Then they got budgets for the streets, the communities, this and that, whatever the case may be. But everybody pays a little bit at a time.
Need budgets, go ahead.
But black and Latinos, we pay more than anybody else because we be in the highest tax brackets. But everybody pays a little bit. Ain't no one person gonna build up America. It ain't gonna one person it ain't gonna be one person to bring it down until your Howard side comes back.
Got that, go ahead.
It's gonna have to be us as a nation, but go ahead.
Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
He said we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Like the brother said, it's not even necessarily that we lack resources. Look up the black spending power alone. It's like 12 trillion a year, and it's steadily going up. Trillions of dollars per year. But why is it that we're in these conditions? Because everybody during tax time, and we all know the story, they got a couple kids, they get them 7, 8, 10,000, they go buy a car that they can't afford, you spend all that money, it's gone. Next you know, 2 months later, that car is right back in, it's right going back to the lot. Because it ain't got repo. Our priorities are not together as a people. Go to Revelation chapter 12. Because we so caught up in the ideology of Egypt. That's why you see Egypt, you know what they had to do? The pharaohs would have a whole lot of stuff buried with them. They'd have money. Sometimes they'd even have live servants to be buried with them because they thought that they'd be able to take them into the next life. But everything was about a sense of self. Everything was about a worship of self. And America is no different. Go to Revelation. It's the same mentality that we have today in so-called America. It's the same mentality that we have in being greedy and being materialistic. And that's why we prioritize what we drive, how we look, everything as an individual, wearing Gucci and Louis, knowing that these famous white men have made statements saying that they don't like black people, but we still so concerned about a brand name. We still so concerned about materialism. And even Christ said, he said, man, if you don't even understand the things that are carnal, how are you going to understand the things that are spiritual? But we're a very carnal people. Everything is about the pursuit of the lust of the flesh, about a pleasure. Going to the club every week, getting drunk. People who wake and bake, literally having to alter your state of mind in a carnal sense. Constantly, because I understand it to an extent because it is in a captivity. And it is a burdensome life that we live. But like I said, if we knew who we were, we wouldn't even have that same mentality. Man, we'd be like, man, if this weed, I don't even want the weed. I want my position to change. I want my situation to change. Because when you come off that bud, and that buzz goes away, you still in the same situation. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 18 verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
He said, come out of her, my people. Because we've taken on the customs of these nations, the beliefs of these nations, the sayings of these nations. We view ourselves as the same dirt as they call us. We view ourselves as low as they say we are. That's why he said, man, you got to come out in all aspects. In the materialism, in the hatred, in the customs. All these holidays and all these so-called memorials our people keep, they don't have nothing to do with us. And you know what? I don't think I've ever seen white people turn up for the 4th of July the same way I've seen blacks and Latinos. They go all out. You done blew your EBT in the first couple days. You maxing out the credit cards for the fireworks. Niggas taking penitentiary chances, going down to Mexico and bringing back some illegal fireworks. Everybody's sweating going through the border. Sit up straight. Come on, stop looking nervous. Don't look back. Taking chances just to get some damn fireworks. But July 4th, 1776, our people wasn't free, and we still not free to this day. We still not free.
That's right.
And don't think because you can drive around in a car. Let me check this out, right? Everything run on something. Bodies run on food, cars run on fuel. But you got to get your car registered, right? The insurance is to protect the other person should you get in an accident. But why you got to register your vehicle? It's because you need permission to drive on the road. I slipped up one time and let my registration expire. Esau was on my ass. I got pulled over twice in the same day. You know your registration expired. They're looking for an excuse. But this is their land. This is their kingdom. That's what they do. But like I said, man, if we were to come out of this nation, we wouldn't even have to be subject to these people. Wouldn't even have to be subject to these other nations and their form of rulership and their ideas and their land. We would have our own law and our own government. But go ahead, read that from the top.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins.
He said that you be not partakers of her sins. Because that's a lot of things that we do, a lot of things that are constantly promoted in America. America is one of the few countries in the world that pushes homosexuality like this. They put it in the cartoons because you're sitting there, you already know, you ain't got time, you may be exhausted. You busting your ass working 40 hours a week, you get home, you like, man, the kids is all excited. You like, oh man, go in your room, watch TV. Then you turn on the TV, and there go homosexuality. They giving it to your kids in the books. I seen a book, and that's the only time we get represented as a people is when they're trying to indoctrinate us, right? You see cops, and they using little black kids, they showing up in the hood to try to pass out ice cream to look like a good guy. That's the only time we get used, is when they pushing the propaganda, when they're pushing the movement. Because they already know it's about that inception. I didn't say it, you thought about it. That's what inception is. So they come with these doctrines. I seen a little book full of black children. And it was only black kids, no white kids. And the book was called Mommy's Having an Abortion. And all the little black kids were sitting there explaining the process of an abortion and what happened to their mother. But you won't see a white kid on the cover of that book. It's a sign, I think it's down on Crenshaw. Gay men matter to, or gay black men matter to God. Abortion and self-care. They're constantly pushing these eugenics in our neighborhoods. They're constantly pushing this stuff in our neighborhoods. That's why I said come out of her. Because we can't continue to be partakers of America's sins. We can't continue to be partakers of this nation's customs. You can see throughout history, every nation has done some bad, but the white man only bold enough, he's the only nation bold enough to say, I'm God. He was the only one bold enough to take the image of Christ that was originally put up, or that was painted, and paint over it and make him a white man. Cesare Borgia, go look him up. He was the one that said, you know what, I'm going to tell you, he took himself and painted himself, or actually he had Leonardo da Vinci paint him as Christ. So when you see that white man, you see that white Christ, you're looking at Cesare or Caesar. That's why he said, man, you got to come out of her. We got to get out of here. And it's going to start with your mind. Go ahead.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached into heaven.
He said the Most High took note. The Most High took note. The Most High know what's going on. He's like, oh, I see them down there. They acting a fool. Go ahead.
And God have remembered her iniquities.
He said, I remembered her iniquities. But go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. The Most High said, I remembered her iniquities. I know what's going on. I know the suffering that you go through. Actually, my bad. Go to Revelation chapter 2 verse 3. We're going to get that first. Because all these sufferings and all these things that we have gone through, they're for a purpose, God. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 3. And has borne.
2 and 9. I'm sorry. 2 and 9.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
So he said, I know what you're going through. I know what you see on an everyday basis. I know the tribulation you face in your everyday life. I know the struggles that you are under, the tribulation that you have to endure. He said, but you're rich. Go ahead.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not.
So who's claiming to be Jews? Every other nation of people, you can see when they took us into captivity, it was it. They took us into captivity. We worked as slaves. Eventually, the Most High set us free and we went back to our own land. Only Esau was like, I'm going to keep them for this many generations. Now that that land is empty, I'm going to call myself after the name and I'm going to set myself up. That's the devil right there. Devil meaning deceiver. So it's to the point where if there was all these nations of people and there was an empty land and a missing people, we would have figured it out. But Esau said, nah, I ain't gonna make it that easy. I'm gonna take their name. I'm gonna take their glory. I'm gonna take their pride. And it's gonna be mine. Go to Jeremiah 17:4. That's what happens. But that's because we did not keep the commandments. This is of the Most High. They always give so much credence to Satan, saying, oh, he came to kill, steal, and destroy. Read the book of Job. When Satan went and he tempted Job, he had to get permission from God. Satan asked him, he said, well, what can I do? The guy was like, at first he said, you know what, you can touch everything around him, just don't touch him. And then when Job was staying strong, he said, all right, you can touch him and do whatever you want to him, just don't kill him. Man, come on now, the Most High is in control. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
And where are we now? Calling ourselves, you can go against about 5 black people. You can go and ask each person, what's your nationality? Or what's your race? You'll get
Islam, brother.
You a who?
Islam.
Islam, brother? But what does that mean? That's what you believe in, right? But what does that say as to your people? If there was no Islam, who are you?
Both like that, though. We both kind of like good looking.
Nah, but it ain't about just being kind. Who are you? Who is your people? That's what I'm saying. So we lost and destroyed. So you don't even know what your race is, right? And you saying you're a brother of good kind, or you're an Islam brother. If you take that away, then what are you? That's a philosophy. That's not your ethnicity. That's what you believe in as far as how you're going to conduct yourself, but that doesn't say anything as to who you are as a people or what nation of people you come from. That's a philosophy that you've taken on, saying that I'm going to be kind or I'm going to be nice or I'm going to do this and that. Right. And so who are those brothers? Who are they according to the flesh?
It doesn't matter.
Who are you?
Is he your brother?
He's my brother.
Is he your brother?
He's my brother.
Okay, so then who is your people? What about the white man? Is that your brother?
No.
Hey, you know what? I give you that. I respect that. I respect that at least. I respect that.
Brother means like I live in brother means, you know, a brother like I get
Some websites you can go. Like, I'll show you.
That's a beautiful thing. But a lot of our people don't take on that mentality of saying, because like you said, my brother. A lot of people, that's right. That's right. But a lot of people don't take on that mentality to say, I'm going to help this brother. A lot of people pass people up. Absolutely. But being good is keeping the commandments. Give me Proverbs 4 and 2. So now, absolutely, you had to love your people. That's a very valuable thing. That's something that the Most High is honored to.
like I said. That's smart. That's smart. I mean, you're good.
It's going to take a time. Okay, so I'm going to get
One son don't have that.
Right.
So I feed my sons. So my goals already go down my whole plan.
Right, that's a beautiful thing. Go ahead. Read that Proverbs 4 and 2.
We're not going to have.
Proverbs chapter 4, verse 2. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law.
So that's what being good is. That's a good doctrine. He said, forsake ye not the law. So it's good that you care about your people, but the next step is keeping the commandments. Because the Israelites, we weren't just deemed and crowned Israelites. He said keeping the laws would be our light amongst the Gentiles. Give me Proverbs 28.
I'm not wearing nothing else. The only thing I'm wearing is Q-Nation shit and my shit. My fit literally gonna be Chuck, Vans.
Let me say this, right? Let me say this. 28:15. Go ahead.
I'm not wearing no other name brand.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So as a people, would you say that we're blessed or cursed?
You gotta figure it out though, like shipping and all
We're
that.
blessed? How so?
But once we get like enough little momentum or whatever, me and Dom will buy like some churches.
But I'm saying as a nation of people, when you look at the black, Latino, Native American man, so-called, as a nation, as a whole, are we blessed or cursed?
And look fly while
We're cursed.
Hey, look, this our
How many businesses, black-owned, Latino-owned, and Native American-owned businesses do you know about? How many schools or hospitals or banks?
And then get some
You see what I'm saying? So if we can't educate ourselves, We can't heal ourselves even physically, and we can't do anything for ourselves.
We got like some people online.
That's the idea, and it works in theory. But how many of our people are actually applying that ideology of helping their brothers? So that's what I'm saying. So as a nation, that we're cursed. Because we don't have any love for our brethren. We don't have any love to say, you know what, this is a man that look like me, act like me, whatever the case may be. He came up in my neighborhood, or even in my circumstances. Let me help him out. Let me reach back. Let me give back.
I will tell you one thing. So brother needs help. Brother needs a fool. 2.5 maybe 3 weeks. So
That's good.
So it looks like
Take a literature, man.
Nah, that's marketing. That's like
y'all know but they make niggas do it. Like, yeah, people buy it like that. So when you re-up in like another week or 2, 3 weeks, you're like, hey, we just re-up, get it before it's out. Like, make it seem like, I don't know if people do that now.
that was smart.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you, and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
Now this is one of the biggest things. Because when you have, especially in LA, it's a gang for them near every block. That's a curse that will be put upon the children of Israel. He said his eyes shall be evil toward his brother. When you see these white folks, a lot of times, they can be at peace with each other. They can be at peace as a collective. I bet everybody can vouch. You see too many black people gathered, you start to get uncomfortable. You start to feel some type of way because you know it's only a matter of time for something to crack off. And that's always been the case. But it said his eyes shall be evil toward his brother. The way, actually, all the drill music that's becoming ever increasingly popular about running the drill, running through somebody's neighborhood or somebody's house and just killing everybody. That's sad. Because they be speaking about their own people, their own brethren. But yeah, when that white man comes to your neighborhood and that white man do something to your people, our people will become docile. Then we want to preach. Then we want to walk or march. Then we want to talk it out. But when it comes to the hood, then we so quick to gun each other down, it's crazy. That's a curse. That's why I said, are we blessed or cursed as a people? That is a curse. That's one of the most specific things. And look at Mexico, the cartels. It's even worse than Mexico. That's beautiful, I understand that. But look at in the cartels in Mexico, how they're evil towards each other. And they don't just kill each other, they'll torture. That's a curse. But go to Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse.
So basically he's saying, when it comes to pass, history goes on further, and wherever we are in our path, whether it was a blessing or the curse, go ahead.
Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God has driven thee.
So, and you can kind of see, he already knew which way it was going to go. He said you could call them amongst whatever nation you are. The Most High knows his people. Go ahead.
And shall return unto the Lord thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I commanded thee this day. Thou and thy children, with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity.
He said, thou and thy children. That's the secret to getting out of captivity. That's the ideal when becoming a nation. This is the government in which we should have above ourselves. It's the commandments. Because all these issues that you see amongst our communities, I guarantee you there's a scripture for it. All these problems that you see from brother to brother, household to household, the single parent households, the adultery, the sayings, the bywords, the brotherly hatred, the gang banging, the abortions, all these things that you see amongst our people, the poverty. There is a solution according to the Bible. But the problem is our people don't have this knowledge. Our people are picking this Bible up looking for solutions. But even more so, like it said in Hosea 4 and 6, we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We've been taught this isn't our book. We've been taught that to be a Christian, but not to be an Israelite. We've been taught to conform to religion, but not to conform to our own culture. That's what the Bible is for the so-called black, the so-called Latino, and the so-called Native American man. This is a book of our history, our culture, our law. This is our book. Go to Revelation 1 and 3. Get two more.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy.
Go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. He said, blessed is he that readeth, and those that hear the words of this prophecy. Blessed are those that understand the scriptures. He said that that's why Christ spoke in parables. And that's another thing that people don't realize. Everybody thought Christ was coming to give this message to everybody. Even amongst his own people, he realized that there was evil, that there were reprobates, that there were people that he couldn't get to. And that's why he spoke in parables, because it wasn't for everyone. It wasn't meant to be comprehended by every single people. He said, blessed is he that readeth. That's why he said, lest they have eyes to see and ears to hear. But look at Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. This is at the end of the day what is intended for the purpose of man. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
That's what he said. That's what the Most High requires. He said, fear God and keep the commandments. That is the duty of man. That is what we're called to do at the end of the day, my people. And with that, I say, Kwame Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.